I, 26, female, started a relationship with my boyfriend, 27, male, with a defined end date. The end date is coming up, and I no longer want the relationship to end. I can't stop staring at the calendar. The red circle around the date feels like it's mocking me. The day we agreed our relationship would end is less than 2 weeks away. And the worst part? I don't want it to end anymore. When we first got together, it was supposed to be temporary. We had both been through messy breakups. We didn't want drama or long-term promises or that kind of heavy commitment. So we made a rule. We'd date for 6 months, enjoy each other's company, and then call it quits. No strings, no heartbreak. At the time, it felt safe, like putting an expiration date on something sweet so it couldn't rot. But now I'm lying awake at night listening to him breathe beside me, and I feel like my chest is splitting in two. The thought of him walking out of my life, of packing up the toothbrush he leaves next to mine, of deleting our pictures, of pretending we never happened, makes me want to scream. And I don't think he knows. Because when he talks about the date, he still says things like, at least we'll have ended on good terms, or 6 months is more than I thought we'd last. He says it so calmly, like he's already at peace with it. Meanwhile, I'm breaking inside. I don't know if he actually feels the same way, if he's secretly holding back the way I am, or if this whole time I've just been a placeholder in his life. What if I tell him I want forever and he laughs? What if I ruin the little time we have left by being honest? Tonight, as he fell asleep with his arm around me, I wanted to whisper it. I don't want this to end. The words rose in my throat like fire, but I swallowed them down, because what if he doesn't feel the same way? And yet, earlier today, I found something I wasn't supposed to see, and it changes everything. But I don't know if it changes it for better or worse. It happened by accident. I wasn't snooping, I swear. He had left his backpack on the couch before heading to the shower, and when I went to move it so I could sit down, a small folded piece of paper slipped out. I picked it up, intending to just tuck it back inside, but then I saw my own name written on it. My stomach dropped. I froze, staring at the paper, debating whether to open it. I shouldn't. I knew I shouldn't. But the way my name was written, like a title, like something important, made my fingers itch. So I opened it. It wasn't just a note. It was a list of reasons why he should stick to the plan. The rules, the deadline, the exit strategy. At the top he had written in bold letters, "Don't get too attached." My chest felt like it was caving in. There were little bullet points underneath, things that stung more with every line I read. We agreed this was temporary. She knows the rules. Don't drag it out, better to end clean. I could barely breathe. I wanted to crumple the paper and throw it away, pretend I never saw it. But then I noticed something else, scribbled at the bottom in handwriting that looked more rushed, more desperate. It said, "But what if I already am too attached?" And underneath that, what if I don't want it to end either? My hands shook so badly I almost dropped the note. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. All this time, while I was lying awake at night, terrified of losing him, he was fighting the same battle inside his own head. But if that was true, why hadn't he said anything? Why was he still talking about the deadline like it was carved in stone? I folded the note back and shoved it into the bag, my heart pounding so hard I thought he'd hear it from the bathroom. By the time he came out, I was sitting on the couch like nothing happened, but inside I was on fire. All night I couldn't stop thinking about that note, that one scratched out line that meant everything. The next morning, as he kissed me goodbye for work, I almost blurted it out. I almost told him I'd seen it, but I didn't. Because a new fear had rooted in me. What if he only wrote it in a weak moment, but didn't mean it? What if he's already decided to end things, and if I tell him I found the note, he'll shut down completely? What if I ruin everything before I even get the chance to know the truth? And then, just when I thought my head couldn't spin any harder, something else happened. Something that shook me even deeper. The reminder popped up on his phone. A calendar alert. And it wasn't just for our end date. It had a title. Goodbye Dinner. The words "goodbye dinner" glared at me from his lock screen, like a cruel joke. My heart felt like it had stopped, but the world kept moving. He was standing just a few feet away in the kitchen, humming as he poured coffee, completely unaware that I had just seen the one thing I feared most. A goodbye. Planned. Scheduled. Final. And the worst part? The date on the alert matched the exact day we had marked months ago. Our so-called expiration date. I sat frozen on the couch, trying to process. My mind kept flipping back and forth. He wrote that note. He doesn't want it to end. But then why schedule a goodbye? Why make it so formal? So certain? By the time he came back into the room, smiling and asking if I wanted toast, I felt like I was sitting across from a stranger. He had this calmness about him, like everything in his world was perfectly under control. Meanwhile, mine was collapsing. I managed to smile and nod, but inside, I was screaming. The rest of the day dragged like quicksand. Every little thing he did felt heavier, sharper. The way he sent me a funny meme during lunch, the way he held my hand walking to the car, the way he leaned over to kiss my forehead at the stoplight. It all felt like he was already saying goodbye. That night, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I wanted to ask. I wanted to confront him about the goodbye dinner, about the note, about all of it. But when I opened my mouth, the words refused to come. Instead, I just asked, "Are you happy with me?" He blinked, caught off guard. Then he smiled softly and said, "Of course I am. You know that." But there was something in his eyes, something unreadable. And that terrified me more than if he had flat out said he wasn't happy. I lay awake long after he fell asleep, staring at the ceiling, trying to untangle the mess in my head. He was happy, but still planning a goodbye? He was attached, but still clinging to the rules? None of it made sense. The next morning, I decided I couldn't keep drowning in silence. I made up my mind. I would talk to him. Maybe not about the note, at least not yet, but about the dinner. I had to know what it meant. But before I got the chance, something happened that knocked the air out of me. As he left for work, his phone buzzed on the counter. Normally, I would never touch it, but this time, my eyes caught the notification. It wasn't just another reminder. It was a text from someone I didn't know. And it read, "So, are you going to tell her at the dinner, or do I need to?" My hands went ice cold when I read that text. "So, are you going to tell her at the dinner, or do I need to?" I stared at the screen like it was written in another language. Tell me what? Who was this person? And why did it sound like they were holding something over him? I wanted to scroll, to dig, to find out who this mystery contact was. But before I could, his footsteps sounded on the porch. He'd forgotten his wallet and was already reaching for the door. I dropped the phone on the counter like it burned and pretended to sip from my mug. He didn't notice anything. He grabbed his wallet, kissed me quickly, and left again. But I couldn't shake it. The words kept echoing in my head all day. Tell her at the dinner. Or do I need to? By the afternoon, paranoia had me spinning. Was he hiding something huge? Was this why he had scheduled the goodbye dinner? Was this why he was holding so tightly to the deadline even though his note suggested otherwise? My stomach was in knots. I couldn't focus on anything. Work, food, even breathing felt heavy. I kept replaying every moment of our relationship, hunting for clues I'd missed. That night, I thought maybe I could trick him into revealing something. So I asked casually, "Who all have you told about us ending soon?" He froze, just for a split second, but I caught it. His jaw tightened before he smiled and said, "No one. It's our thing, right? Private." But I knew he was lying. I wanted to scream, to demand the truth. But instead I laughed lightly and let it drop. My heart was hammering in my chest, but I kept my face calm. Later, when he was asleep, I sat in the dark living room, hugging my knees, staring at the silent phone on the counter. That message was proof. Someone else was involved in this, someone who knew enough to pressure him. And if they were threatening to tell me, it meant whatever the secret was, it was about me. The next day, things only got worse. I was leaving for work when I noticed something strange. A car I didn't recognize was parked across the street, engine running. I didn't think much of it until it followed me. Not close, not obvious, but every turn I took, it was there. By the time I pulled into our driveway, my hands were shaking so badly I could barely get the key in the door. I glanced in the mirror, and the car idled at the corner for a moment before driving away. When he got home, I tried to act normal, but inside I was unraveling. Was that connected, or was I losing it? All night I debated whether to confront him with the truth. Tell him I saw the note, tell him I saw the text, tell him about the car, but I didn't. Because deep down, I was afraid of the answer. And then, just when I thought things couldn't spiral further, my phone buzzed with a new message. It wasn't from him. It wasn't from anyone I recognized. The message only said, "You deserve to know before the dinner." When I read that message, "You deserve to know before the dinner," I felt my heart skip a beat. My hands trembled so violently that I almost dropped the phone. It wasn't just the words themselves, it was the timing. It came at night, while he was in the shower, steam spilling under the bathroom door like nothing in the world was wrong. But something was wrong. Deeply wrong. I typed back before I could even think. "No what? Who is this?" No answer. Just those 3 cursed dots. Typing, stopping, typing again. Like whoever it was couldn't decide how much to reveal. Finally, the reply came. "Ask him about the deal. If he doesn't tell you, I will." The deal. My skin went cold. I wanted to storm into the bathroom and demand answers right then, but fear chained me down. Instead, I sat there on the couch, staring at my phone until the dots disappeared. Whoever it was had gone silent. When he came out of the shower, towel around his waist, humming like life was simple, I felt like I was looking at a stranger. I couldn't reconcile the boy who made me laugh with the man hiding a deal behind my back. That night, I couldn't sleep. I just kept staring at him, lying peacefully beside me, wondering what kind of goodbye needed a deal, what secret someone else was desperate for me to uncover. The next day, everything snapped. I walked into the coffee shop where we usually met before work. He was already there, sitting at the back. But he wasn't alone. There was a woman with him. She leaned in too close, her hand brushing his arm as she whispered something that made his jaw tighten. I froze at the door, invisible in the morning rush. My chest burned like I'd swallowed fire. I wanted to run to him, scream, demand to know who she was, but I didn't. I just stood there, hidden behind the crowd, watching. And then, like fate had been waiting for the moment, my phone buzzed again. Another message from the same number. This time, it was a picture, taken just seconds earlier, of me, standing at the door, staring at him and the woman. The caption said, "He's not who you think he is." I nearly dropped the phone. My pulse thundered in my ears. I spun around, searching the room, desperate to see who was watching me. But all I saw were strangers sipping coffee, scrolling their own screens, living their own lives. When I looked back at his table, he was already on his feet, scanning the cafe like he sensed something too. The woman was whispering sharply now, and he kept glancing at the door. I slipped out before he could spot me. I don't remember the drive home. I just remember locking the door behind me, pressing my back to it, and gasping like I'd run a marathon. My whole world was unraveling. The note, the dinner, the text, the deal, the woman, the picture. And in that moment, I knew one thing for certain. This wasn't just about a relationship ending. Something much, much bigger was about to come crashing down. And the goodbye dinner, it wasn't just goodbye. It was a trigger. The goodbye dinner never happened. The night before, he disappeared. His phone went straight to voicemail. His apartment was empty, like he'd never lived there. His car was gone. His desk at work cleared. No one had answers. No one even seemed surprised. But a week later, I got a letter in the mail. No return address, no signature, just one line written in his handwriting. The deal was never about us. It was about you. And taped to the bottom of the page was a photo of me, asleep in my own bed.